Well, hi there, everybody. Happy Monday. I'm off today. You might have noticed I was not on Fox 43 Morning News. Took off today and tomorrow, Tuesday, for my 7th year anniversary with my husband. We celebrated with dinner last evening. We decided to do it a day early, mainly because of work with him and what he was able to pull off and what he wasn't able to pull off. No big deal though. You always make the best of it. It was really interesting. I don't know if you saw on my Facebook page, but I decided after hearing all about it and yada yada, I was like, you know what? We can't go out because, we have a toddler. It can very often, when you don't have that network at home, it can be like that at-home network, like your family nearby, because, we live in York and our families are from Reading and from Delaware County over by Philadelphia. So, sometimes getting childcare or getting somebody to babysit can just be difficult. So I was like, you know what, let's do a nice little at-home meal, splurge a little. It's 7th year. I thought, okay, fine, put away some money over the last few months. And then I decided to do Wagyu beef, got a ribeye, just because that's personally my favorite cut, but also I know I've been able to turn my husband around to see just how wonderful the world of ribeye is. That was kind of my gift to him, was doing, a really nice, well thought, well put together dinner for him, and he really liked it. I have to say, I was very hesitant about this. I was like, is this just a way to get people to throw away their money and make them think that they're having something fancy and awesome? I have to say, I personally love fat on the steak, not the chewy one that's more like cartilage than actual, the juicy fat that you can eat. I love that kind of fat on a steak. I would have that over a chocolate bar any day. Although I do love chocolate, don't get me wrong. But so I was like, well, this could either be really good because I like that kind of fat, or this is just something over glorified to get you to throw your money away and make you think you're getting something fancy. Turns out it lived up to the hype, I'm very happy to say. So I highly recommend it to anybody who is thinking about it. But yeah, so now I'm off today, I'm off tomorrow, just kind of hanging around now that we got to celebrate our anniversary yesterday, and I'm sure we'll probably go out to lunch tomorrow or something like that because he's off tomorrow as well. Although for me it'll be a little interesting because I've got to fit in my afternoon nap because I have to kind of retrain my body. Yeah, being on mornings, I love the morning show, but it's interesting in terms of tricking your internal clock to function. I'm sure anybody who's a third shift worker understands how you have to sleep certain ways at certain times of day to be able to trick your body into thinking, okay, I should be awake now, be happy, be perky, instead of, waking up and not being able to fall asleep. So what I do is I'll sleep during the afternoon for a few hours. I also have to sleep in shifts because I am a parent as well. And since we use part-time childcare, this is just the best way to kind of make it work, and also work so that I have family time with my family in the evening instead of going to bed at say 5 and waking up at midnight or midnight 30. It's easier for me to nap when Ava naps, which is from about 1 to 4. Of course, I don't get down by 1. She's down by 1, but then I have to get ready for bed. So for me, it's usually between 1:30, 2 at the latest. On a good day, it's 1:30. Usually I'm not so fortunate. And then I'll sleep again from about 8 until midnight or midnight 30. I know I say that funny, but it just sounds, it's easier than specifying 12:30 in the morning, 12:30, in the afternoon. I don't know. It's my own personal thing. I like doing it. Maybe it'll catch. Maybe it'll be cool one day. Yeah, nothing I ever do is cool, but that's all right. So today, it's a good cleaning day. Ava's at her sitter. I kind of adjusted the schedule a little bit, did an 8 to 4, so that I could get cleaning done and whatnot. A lot of cleaning, my goodness. I've had 3 loads of laundry that I've kind of been waiting on. I just heard the buzzer. You might have heard it a few seconds ago. I left the door to our closet. We kind of have our machines in a closet in the basement. I left it open so I could hear it. And then it buzzed and it went off, so I don't know if you heard it, but there we go. Yay, next round done. I hope it's fully dry. I got 1 load put away pretty much already. I'm not fully done the closet transitioning. You know how you go and you switch with the seasons? Well, I have a tote. I've had it upstairs. I keep it in the garage when I switch everything out. And it's just, I've been so backed up with laundry that I still do have some stuff from, you know, April when it was still chillier. Like late April when it was, you know, a little, not chilly, but by my standards, chilly, obviously. We all have our own tolerances and whatnot. But I don't know. I usually will just, you know, switch it out and that be that. But I've had this tote for like 2-3 weeks now in the middle of my bedroom floor. So annoying. So glad that I can finally tackle my laundry, get that done, and then finally put that away for next season. You know, fold whatever is a sweater. I mean, not a lot of sweaters. I found a couple sweaters though that I obviously reached to, and a couple hoodies that'll just go away until, you know, the fall. Happy summer, everybody, right around the corner, especially after this past weekend. Whew, I can't believe we got to 93 yesterday. I mean, don't get me wrong, and you know, I was all about that 90, but 93, wow, the record was 94, so we were shy of a record. I don't know if I had actually forecasted Saturday or even Sunday morning if I would have changed my mind and bumped a little higher. I don't know, because truthfully, I've been enjoying my weekend and I really haven't been looking at too much. But at least I got the 90, I guess, right? And as far as the forecast is for today, I did want to talk about that too a little bit. So we're cooler, we're cloudier, and we do have showers. Much needed rainfall, by the way. Something I've been noticing over the last couple of weeks that, you know, because I have 2 minutes and 30 seconds in each full weather hit, I don't always get to touch upon it, is the fact that, you know, we're kind of behind in rainfall now. Luckily, over the late winter and, you know, heading into late winter, we got enough storms, enough snow, and just precipitation in general that the drought conditions, you know, were dialed back a bit. But I think we're going to have to start, you know, thinking about not any kind of significant drought, but we're starting to backpedal a little bit in the other direction. So without any significant rainfall in the forecast this week, and by significant rainfall, I mean like a nice good soaker, you know, like this is all right if you're looking outside now, you know, some showers, that's good. At least you don't have to water the plants today. I certainly don't plan on it. I made sure they got a nice, good, healthy one yesterday though, because I took Ava to the park yesterday morning. My goodness, it was so hot, and we left at 10:45. But whew, she didn't want to leave. That's the hard part with a toddler. They're hard to chase around. They're hard to follow at the park. I love that she had fun. Don't get me wrong, but whew, I'm pretty sure that by the time nap time rolled around for her, I was more exhausted than her. And it's funny because our whole, you know, process for taking her, thought process, my husband and my thought process for taking her to the park is to wear her down. I'm pretty sure this wears mommy down more. But such is the life of a parent. Fun, rewarding, yet oftentimes stressful. You guys know the drill, parents anyway who were watching. So today, you know, it's nice to have this time to myself to, you know, it's not fun. It's not like I'm sitting on my bum watching Netflix like I would like to be. I'm catching up on laundry. I mean, I guess it is your typical cloudy, dreary, rainy day of sorts. So what happened in terms of the weather setup is the combination of a backdoor cold front and some cold air damming as well. And by damming, for anybody, you know, it's damming, that kind of damming, like a beaver damming. So backdoor cold front. What the heck's a backdoor cold front, you might be asking? So normally cold fronts come from west to east or northwest to southeast, some sort of westerly component to the direction, because most things in the northern hemisphere in the mid-latitudes move from west to east, because that's the way the direction of the jet stream is. Well, every so often you get a cold front that might drop down from the north, or particularly north to northeast, so more of an east component as opposed to a west component. Usually they can go hand in hand with damming highs, although damming highs don't necessarily need to have a backdoor cold front. This is common in the springtime in particular, more so earlier in the spring than later in the spring. I would say this is a little bit more of a late season one, or at least we're close to the point where it's a late season one. And you can even get it late in the winter too. Sometimes they can happen in the fall as well, more so later in the season, later in the summer, I should say, season and close into fall. Winter, you can get them as well, but I would definitely say springtime is usually the most common time, particularly the transitional seasons, but springtime for sure in this area more than anything. And they'll come usually anyway. There are exceptions. I've seen ones in late summer, early fall that might not bring a huge temperature drop, especially if they go through dry. And when I say a front goes through dry, I mean no precip with it. Maybe clouds, but not always. So I've seen those, and it might shave, say, 10 degrees off of temperatures, depending upon if you're having an above average streak or not. So I've seen that before happen in this area over the years. Another thing worth noting this time of year, when you get a damming high, which is a high positioned to our northeast, so in New England, with that sort of position, you've got a clockwise and overall counterclockwise airflow diverging from the high pressure. So we tend to get some sort of east component to the wind as well. So that, along with the front, you can have east, southeast, even northeast, depending on the situation. That helps pull in moisture from the Atlantic. And when you think about it this time of year, the ocean water is still cold. The oceans are huge bodies of water. Thank you, Captain Obvious. You're welcome. That's my superpower. Just kidding. If anybody doesn't know, I'm a huge Marvel nerd. Truthfully, if it's something nerdy, I'm into it. So whenever I tried to be cute, probably didn't work. Maybe I made you laugh. Hope I did. I digress. So, even though it's getting warm now, the oceans don't heat overnight. They sure don't. In fact, fun fact, the reason why the peak of hurricane season, instead of being the first day of summer, which is June 22nd, 23rd, depending on the year, why it's September 10th, as opposed to the first day of summer, is because it takes time of days of all of those hot temperatures to warm the surface temperatures of the ocean. And hurricanes, there are a lot of factors that they need, but one of the most important ingredients to hurricane formation is ocean temperatures and favorable environments in the form of wind shear and whatnot too. But that's what you can't have it without that. You just can't. You need it. So they don't get warm enough for a lot of activity, even on an average or even on a below average season, until about that time. That's why that's climatologically the peak of hurricane season. So with that in mind, when you have cooler temperatures along the ocean, still, because we're coming off of the winter season still, so it takes time, even a little bit of a breeze, that flow along the front that's draped nearby, you're tapping into moisture from the Atlantic. That's conducive to clouds and showers, of course, maybe drizzle as opposed to showers. There's, every situation on its own is unique and different, but also, of course, clouds and showers, that keeps temperatures cooler too. So in this sort of setup where you kind of have the duo of the backdoor cold front and the damming high, you could be 20, 30 degrees cooler than the day before, depending on the situation. And that's where we find ourselves today. So I thought it was kind of a cool tie-in to, hey, this is my my cleaning fun day. Fun, I guess. I like the end result, especially when I've been behind and stressed out and busy. I don't know what it is. I'll admittedly say I'm one of those high anxiety people. And when I have a particularly busy or stressful week, just having a messy house because I have not been able to touch anything, it just adds to the feeling of my life is in chaos right now. And there's something about, coming home to a clean home, when I'm able to do it, of course, that is just even when it's stressful, it's at least something is in order. I guess maybe from that type A personality that I know I am 100%, and oftentimes admittedly to a fault, I guess it helps me feel like that there is some order in my life. Wow, that made sense. Wow. All right. Here, let me just lay down on my couch and solve all my problems. No therapist needed. All right, I'll pay myself $100 now, or however much it is. I don't remember. Okay, just totally joking there. A little light humor here or there. I try to be. But yeah, so I mean, that's kind of the situation for today. That's why today is so different compared to yesterday. The front will ultimately lift north as a warm front over the next couple of days and then bring a return to the warmth. But since we have this backdoor cold front come through, it's hanging just to the south of our area. So it's a dreary one today. It'll be a little bit better tomorrow, temperature-wise, depending on the cloud cover. Like I said, I haven't looked at anything over the weekend, but depending on the cloud cover, if there's less cloud cover, we'll likely be able to get warmer. If there's more cloud cover and maybe a stray shower chance or two out of it, then we might not perform as well with temperatures. Of course, our Fox 43 weather team who are working today will have you covered. So tune in and find out what they're saying, obviously. But yeah, and then, you know, the heat will be back, but briefly from my understanding of it, like a day. And by heat, I mean the 90s. That'll be back. So yeah, so that's cool. I'll just take you, I guess, through my day now. I know, my fun day of doing laundry. Comment below, let me know what you're doing on a Monday. Maybe it's working. Maybe it's, I don't know, trying to get life caught up and get life back in order again, just to have it, you know, 2 weeks later, go into disarray again. But, you know, comment below, let me know what you're doing. I'll kind of try to take you through a life cleaning with Andrea. All right, maybe I have to work on my humor a little bit, guys, but you get the point. All right, so now is kind of that magic moment where you check to make sure that everything is dry. And you know how sometimes your laundry can play tricks on you and it can feel like it's dry, and then there was like 2 shirts balled together in the middle of it that you don't realize until, you know, you get upstairs, which is what I did with my first load. So I've got 2 shirts laying out on my bed that I'm just waiting to get a little bit drier. And they're one of the ones I was talking about earlier that I need to put away in the totes, of course. So I'm waiting on that. But let's see. Supposedly my laundry's done. I'm about to find out. I mean, it feels like it. It definitely does. I hope so. I hope it's not a trick. I hate tricks. Woo! But yeah, nothing like laundry. Making sure, you know, specific detailing and designs or whatnot on my shorts or clothes or whatever didn't get ruined. I'm always so worried about that. You know, I don't put the effort in to follow a lot of the care instructions, but I'll sure be anxious about it until I look at it and I get that, you know, that sigh of relief or whatever I'm looking for in terms of words, word search or whatnot. I drank a little too much wine last night because I was enjoying dinner. I mean, and I had been like two glasses in, and I'm noticing, I'm like, huh. I was like, what is with this wine? And then I turned, and Mike's my husband's name. He had bought a bottle to match the steak, and I've never had this brand before. I'm usually just for how infrequently I drink anymore now, unless it's, you know, a cool crafty beer that I'm trying. I really don't drink wine anymore either now. Although I do like a nice dry red, don't get me wrong, and that's what it was. But it was from Behringer's, their Cabernet Sauvignon. I like to say that like I'm French and I think I'm fancy. I don't know. It's fun. I've always found languages fun. I tried to teach myself a whole bunch of different languages. I took a semester of Italian in college just because I needed the credits to stay full-time so I could live on campus and not have to worry about an apartment, yada, yada, yada. So like that was fun. I've always been interested in that, so that's why I like try to say. French is hard though, let me tell you. I didn't get very far with French just because I didn't have the time when I was trying to do this all. And then I was also trying to do like 3 at a time too. Japanese, Italian, and also French at the same time too. This was early in college though, before I was like, yeah, my classes are very intense. I need time to actually learn what I'm learning and not something else. But yeah, so I just like trying to say them the way that they're supposed to be said. Um, that was a huge tangent. You know, I've become very mindful of how I go off on tangents, but being mindful and figuring out how to make a change, two completely different things here. I mean, I guess at least I am self-aware, probably to a fault. But it is what it is. All right. I felt like I didn't have any tricks in this laundry, which is good. And I know, I have Stormy Coco out upstairs. I like to call him Stormy Coco Puffs. He was getting in the way while I was folding the laundry. I don't know what it is about animals, but they love getting in the way of the laundry. Maybe not necessarily snuggling up in blankets or towels or whatnot, but just a like, hey, you're doing something. I see things that aren't normally here. I'm gonna come sniff them. And then I'm looking at him like, yeah, it's fresh. Something you guys are not, you stinky bunnies, you. All 4 of you bunnies are stinky. They're adorable though. That's why I keep them around and they keep me company and I love them and whatnot. But it's just, it's always so interesting how, I mean, all pets are the same. I had cats growing up. That was just what my mom bought. It's not to say I don't like dogs or anything like that. We were just, you know, we were just cat people, I guess, growing up. My dad had cats growing up, from what I understand. My mom had 1 dog growing up, and then when that dog passed, they never got another. They just didn't. And we have rabbits now because my husband's allergic to cats, and especially at the time 6 years ago with where we were in our lives, my schedule, because I was on weekends, being so variable, and my husband's as well, we just didn't feel like we were able to give the proper time and attention to a dog. We needed something that can be independent or can be, I don't want to say restrained, because, you know, but the rabbits, we were able to put them in a cage, Oreo and Dolce, before they were trained, until they had their own room and we moved into a bigger place. And, you know, then they just kind of became more free roaming instead of, but at least, you know, we had the option to, you know, keep them in where they weren't going to get into things. Rabbits are supposed to get at least 3 hours of out time a day. So we made sure we did that. Full disclaimer, that, you know, we do what we're supposed to do. And even now that I have to have my rabbits separated, I still do make sure that they get, especially on days like today where I'm home. That's part of the reason why the morning schedule is so good also. I mean, there are many positives, also drawbacks. I mean, and I think in terms of where we are now and the way our life is, a morning show schedule is, yeah, it's ideal, I guess, or at least as ideal as it gets, considering my line of work. So yeah, and it allows me the opportunity to come home, to be mom. You know, I usually pick Ava up at noon, so, you know, I think that's a nice benefit, although the split schedule sleeping, not ideal, obviously. I get to be mom instead of have my kid at, you know, daycare until 5, full time, like a lot of people have to do. And then you don't get to technically spend a lot of time with them during the day because, you know, you're up for a couple hours, then you go to sleep, you wake up, it's the morning routine, you have to get right out the door. So I kind of like that I can be a little more present as a mother while being a working mom. And it also allows that sort of flexibility with the rabbits too. I can come home, let one of them out, one of them free roams for an hour, 2 hours, switch it out, and another rabbit gets to, switch it out, Oreo and Dolce get to together. So, you know, there's that. There's a lot of positives and negatives to it. And today is one of those days where they really get to take advantage because I'm off. So they just have free roam all day long. I don't even remember how long Stormy's been out now. I probably do have to give them lunch and switch them out at this point. Food's always a good way to lure them around and whatnot. But I guess my point of that was, you know, the morning schedule is also pretty ideal for having four rabbits that don't really like each other very much right now. I mean, Oreo and Dolce obviously love each other, but, and I think Stormy and Apollo are getting better. I'll talk about that in a little bit, I think, actually, with the buddy bonding and whatnot. Maybe I'll try a brief, like, 15-minute bonding session just to give you guys an idea of what that looks like. Yeah, why the heck not? After I get some of my laundry folded away and whatnot, it can give kind of a little insight into what the chaos that can be. Which is basically, don't let Oreo do mean things, in short, or be a little jerk, because that's what he is. Been in this situation way more than not. But yeah, I'll go upstairs, get some of this put away, and then I guess maybe I'll feed the rabbits lunch, and then I'll do a bonding session first for like 15 minutes. I don't want to do too long. And then get them their lunch, and then I can let Apollo out and running around. So I think that's what's to come, my friends. All right, guys, I'm back. So having a little bit of a brief bunny bonding session, I decided. So I have Stormy here, I have Apollo here, I have Dolce here. They'll move, obviously, but this is just kind of my process for getting them all in at the beginning. And Oreo goes last, particularly in short because Oreo's the problem. And I prefer to put him next to Dolce to get started because we have to watch Oreo. Oreo, he's used to being the head honcho. He's an alpha. In the Apollo-Stormy relationship, Stormy's the beta, Apollo's the alpha, so two alphas. You know, I have to say though, Apollo has been surprisingly friendly to Oreo in these sessions. Oreo's the only one that's not getting along with everybody, so I feel like I really have to watch him. So I'm not going to be facing the camera because I have to be ready to intervene if Oreo goes after them. Bunnies are very territorial. For as cute and wonderful as they can be, until you get them to love each other, they don't like to share. And, you know, Oreo has been, I'm wearing a gardening glove because if I have to put my hand in between to intervene, here, it's okay, boy. He wants to be your friend. Let him be your friend. See, he's being nice. Oh, no, 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 no. See, I kind of have a sense, too, of when Oreo might snap, just based on previous bonding sessions. And you know what? I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes. I'm not going to make you guys watch the whole 15 minutes of this. I'll stop after maybe like 5 or 10 minutes or so. But I'm watching you. I'm a mama in more ways than one. Whoop, no. See, I stopped him because that was definitely about to go awry, for sure. See, Apollo didn't do anything, surprisingly. Like, in these situations, and it's interesting, too, Stormy has come up to Oreo, sniffed him, tried to be nice, and tried to get affection and say, hey, be my friend. But Oreo wasn't having it. Oreo went after him once. I stopped it. I got him off of him. But it was interesting because I noticed he was going to Apollo for comfort, which was really interesting. And to me, a sign that I don't want to say it's a broken bond, but what's now a shaky bond. Like even now, like Apollo's grooming him, Stormy's letting him. They're leaning on each other. Maybe it's out of familiarity. I don't know. I'm not a bunny expert for sure. This is a learning experience for me as well. When I brought Dolce home, Oreo was still less than a year old, I believe. Yeah, he was. And he was just neutered. They're all neutered, and she's spayed, obviously, because she's a she. But they took to each other really well. And Dolce wasn't spayed when we got her. She was really young. She was 6 weeks, which from what I'm hearing was probably too young, which makes me feel bad, but I mean, not so young that like, you know, she couldn't be independent and she needed to be like bottle fed or anything crazy like that. But she was about 6 weeks old when we brought her home. Oreo, he was 8 weeks. I'm not sure much about Apollo and Stormy's history. We question, you know, the York County SPCA said they were brothers, but I don't know if they were actually brothers from the same litter. It helps though with bucks being bonded at a young age for them to be siblings, especially if they're not neutered. And they were not neutered until the York County SPCA got them. But a couple of the things that we did want for bringing home a bonded pair to Oreo and Dolce, it's a coincidence actually that they have some lion head in them. We were not looking specifically, sorry, might have jumped the gun there a little, Oreo, sorry. I'm just a little protective. He's just being nice, okay? Okay, you gotta be nice, please. Play nice. You all gotta love each other one way or another. Nobody's leaving, so, you know, if it makes you feel better to hang out with Dolce, hang out with Dolce. But anyway, sorry about that. Like I said, I have to pay attention here because I have to make sure nobody gets hurt. Buddy fights, I mean, the fight that they had was, Mike sent me a video of it. At first we thought they were playing, well, both of us, but then we were like, it kept going on all day, and then we started breaking them up and breaking them up. It was very vicious. In hindsight, we didn't recognize it for what it was because we just didn't know. Now we know, and now we're working on a rebond. But I think it's going okay with them. Every time they seem to interact, at least on the tabletop, it seems like it goes okay. But my point is, Oreo and Dolce, we were just so lucky because of circumstances that they took to each other very quickly. Apollo and Stormy, even if they weren't from the same litter, they had being young on their side. But they very well could be siblings. You just have no way of knowing. I don't, unfortunately, the only history I know that the York County SPCA could tell me was that there was nothing wrong with them. The owner just had to give them up because he could no longer afford to take care of them. I don't know if it was pandemic related or not. It very well might have been, unfortunately, but you know, they have a loving home with us now and they will be very well cared for and eventually have friends. See, Apollo is always very friendly. Now I have to be careful here because, you know, Oreo's really close and he's getting close trying to groom Dolce. I'm gonna just pet him and just kind of in the hopes that that keeps him at bay and calm and whatnot, but and we'll see. But this is just kind of what I do. I watch them. A 15-minute session is a short session. I try to do 30 minutes. One night I did an hour. He was still a little jerk though. He was the only one that's not getting along. And he's used to being the head honcho. I can't say I blame him for it. Dolce's been indifferent, but accepting of affection. Stormy's a little standoffish right now. I don't know if he might just be uncomfortable. I noticed that he's leaning, like huddled to Apollo, so I think he's leaning in for some comfort, so I think he might be a little tense or uncomfortable. It's okay, boy. I know. I feel like Dolce and Stormy could have a play date and everything would be okay. Apollo and Stormy, perhaps. I don't know if I'll do it today. Maybe I'll test the waters tomorrow downstairs in our sunroom, I think. Completely neutral territory. Somewhere where they don't go because they stay up here. None of them have ever cared to hop down the stairs. Stormy looked a little curious when he was out earlier at one point and a little tempted, but he didn't do it. He just kind of, you know, leaned over, looked down a little after my husband went downstairs on his way into work after he got changed for work. And yeah, he didn't give it much thought after that. Oreo and Dolce, I mean, back when we lived at we rented a townhome before we moved into our current home. They hopped down 2 or 3 stairs once, and that was it. They hopped back up, and they don't care much. But this is kind of what we do. I prefer this to the bathtub bonding, I have to say. If I were to do the bathtub bonding again for more space than this, because you're allowed to, as they get more comfortable and don't fight, you're allowed to expand the space. I might do that, but I did not like how slippery it was. They kind of got the picture, I can't move, and stayed still right away. They are, they're risky, I'll say that. And I just did not like watching their paws slip. Something just did not seem right about that. It just seemed cruel. So I would put a towel down next time. Although I will say, when they go after, because Apollo and Stormy did go after each other. I will say they couldn't get each other because they were slipping. So, but it just seemed like, I don't know if it's called splaying where they go like that, but that just seemed like that was not good for them. Especially if you're going to do that for like an hour at a time until they finally gave up and realized, okay, I'm going to move very slow. It seemed cruel. I think this is not cruel. Sure, they're a little out of sorts. They're a little nervous because, you know, they're up high. And this is just the desk that's in their room. I'm in the bunny room right now. Yes, it's not neutral territory, but they all live in here anyway. I mean, it's no secret to any of them anymore that there are other rabbits in the household at this point, so whatever. I figure you gotta at least must be able to get away with that to some degree at this point. Otherwise, hey, be nice. Be nice, Oreo. He's just trying to be nice. And see, like, Stormy's letting Apollo. So I've been getting the sense over the last week and a half that maybe they're letting bygones be bygones. Stormy, after the fight, Stormy was very defensive. Apollo's the alpha. He's bigger. I don't know if you can tell here, but Apollo is bigger than Stormy. Stormy is even, Dolce's really big too. Dolce's not much smaller than Oreo. And then, I mean, they still have a little more growing to do. Bunnies aren't done growing at a year old. I noticed even through the second year, Oreo and Dolce did get bigger still. But I think after that they were done, from what I recall. So Apollo might still get a little bigger and Stormy might too, but Stormy's the small one and Stormy will more than likely stay the smallest out of the bunch. So he's kind of the little guy, so I feel bad for him. He was really defensive, which, when Apollo just wanted it to be over and wanted to be friends again. And Stormy would jump the gun sometimes when he would try to sniff him. And I understand. I mean, he got the better of him in the fights and hurt him. So I understand how he was defensive, for sure. But at some point it was like, you wish that the rabbits could have the understanding where you could just be like, all right, Stormy, just let it go. It's time to move on. He's trying to be your friend again. Just let it go. He's, and then there have been times where Apollo's jumped the gun too, and Apollo has started some fights that we had to stop before it became too much. We would try to let them play together and, just like I am now with this glove, be ready to intervene should something, look like it's escalating to a place we don't want it to go. But I think right now everything's looking a-okay and whatnot. All right, so there's about 5 minutes left in this bond session. So, I mean, that'll do it, I guess, for my video blog for today. I'll probably try to do another one later this week. We'll see. It might be a little busy with me trying to clean because we're having barbecue on Sunday for Memorial Day. Sunday. I know, not the typical, actually on Memorial Day, just because family will be coming up and whatnot, and it'll be nice. It'll be a good time, but I'll still have a lot of cleaning to catch up on, I'm sure, so I don't know if I'll be able to. But for sure, I'll try to do one into the early part of next week. See, Stormy's, he wants some cuddles, Apollo, and he wants to give you some too. That's nice. Yeah, I think I might, in the week to come, or maybe next weekend, depending on the time, I think I'll see how they do playing together. I feel like I could throw the three of them to play together and everything would be okay. Oreo is the problem. I know. You're my big boy and I love you, but you gotta be nice. You gotta stop being a little jerk. I'm sorry. You just do. They come over to you. They want to, they're not being mean or hostile or anything. They want to be your friend, and then you go after them. Gotta get used to them. Gotta be nice to them. Dolce's being nice to them. Dolce has been a saint through this all. I don't know if it's because she's the only doe in the pack-a-bucks here that she's just like, okay. So I don't know if it's like that factor. It very well might be, or at least play some sort of role. Or I don't know. Maybe it's just her personality to begin with because she is a caretaker of sorts. Particularly with Oreo. He's such a little ham man. He likes to think he's in charge. But oh boy, he's a ham, trust me. And he is a good boy. I know he hasn't been nice to them, but this is typical for rabbits. I've watched videos on rabbit bonding to kind of just get an idea of what the heck I'm doing. And it's to be expected. It's not pleasant to watch. It sucks, for lack of better words, truly. But, you know, I just hope that with persistence, we'll get there in the end. So we'll see. I've got some plans now with you guys for this week. See, this is a sign that they're comfortable, that Apollo's comfortable. Oreo, I don't know if it's just because he has no option here, but Apollo, man, this guy, no cares are given. Hey, there's my cup of care, it's empty. That's Apollo. He's totally chill, I have to say. He's out of all four of them, he is the most chill. They're all good, they really are good boys and girl. Like, they really are. They're good bunnies, but we just gotta, you know, get past the bad bunny instincts and turn them into good bunny instincts, and I know we'll get there. So, I mean, you know, this is just a day in the life of me, sort of on a day off. It's nothing special. Cleaning, bunny bonding, hanging out with bunnies. So I'll get Eva eventually, and we'll have some fun. She's discovered the fun of tents, blanket tents or blanket forts or whatever. So I've been doing that downstairs, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of that today. Good day for it, I mean, right? Can't take her outside because, I mean, I guess I could, but it's just like a mess sort of day, dreary, showery day, whatever. Just best to be inside, whatever. So hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday and the rest of your week. I'll be back on air again on Wednesday after, you know, having my time to spend some time with my husband for our anniversary. Very fortunate to have him. He's really wonderful. 7 years, and in fact, we've been together more than that, obviously. We were engaged for nearly 3 years. Together for like 2. So before we were married, I think it was a total of 5 years. That we were together before we got married. So, hey! Hey! All right, that looked like that got a little nasty. Apollo, what was that about? You didn't bite him, did you? That's not nice. So even if, you know, I'm expecting Oreo to be the bad one, so to speak, you still gotta watch. And okay, now what are you doing? Are you trying to get knots out? What are you doing? Maybe he was just going at it a little hard because sometimes they do that with the fur. Maybe I overreacted. I don't know. I'd rather be safe than sorry though. Stormy's the little guy, so I feel bad for him. Shocker, I feel bad for the little guy. I'm a bleeding heart when it comes to animals. Like, I truly am. No shame in my game here. I don't even care. I feel like if it's one place you can do that, it's your animals. All right. I'm going to hold Oreo because I have a feeling he's not going to. My 15 minutes are up. Look at this. I told you. Look. Okay, Apollo, that's enough. Apollo, I'm really nervous you're going to get your face bit off here. Just step back, boy, please. Well, that 15 minutes is up anyway. I told you you're really only going to get 5 to 10 minutes of this. Obviously, I lied. I could talk forever, clearly. I never think I can. And then every time, I always surprise myself. So I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the week. I'll see you guys on air soon enough. And yeah, that'll be that. Say goodbye, guys. Be good.